sucked in the air. It stuck in her windpipe, a ball of gas. Her lungs deflated, tightened in her chest, knotted fast. She tried again. Breathe in. She grabbed the chair, her face stiff, frozen. She began to pant. Panic attacks. Soldiers had them, she had learned, after a battle. Post-traumatic stress disorder. It had a name. Everyone she knew said it was stage fright and dead common. Break a leg, that's what they used to say. Break a leg. But what did they know? They weren't inside her head. She could see the hall through the wings, daylight pouring through the windows, could hear the hum of the audience. Was it better at night when all you saw was a black hole, the pit of hell rising towards you? The pianist struck up the opening bars of the music, and she saw the MC clapping his hands and beckoning her on. She let go of the chair, stepped through the wings and onto the platform. She walked, jelly steps, to centre stage, lifted the microphone from its stand, took a deep breath and opened her mouth. When the columbine and dog rose start to flower, and the pitch-black ravens in the prince's tower, it would be all right. It always was. In all the years she'd never failed. Her voice was still clear, but then she practiced every day, breathing deep from the diaphragm, running through her scales, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, major, minor, trilling her tongue and lips, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This song was in a major key, though she preferred minor. It suited her voice better. She added a quaver, like a folk singer, took another deep breath from the belly, raised her arms, gestured to the audience, join in, sing along. She paused a beat, hung on to the last note, air in, voice out, on and on, until the audience had stopped singing. She dropped the microphone back into its stand, bowing as she took in the applause. It was a themed contest, songs from the Second World War. It was between her and that woman from Mill Hill with her Vera Lynn tribute act. She'd dressed in period, Joan would give her that, with her wrap bodice tea dress and hair in a victory roll, but her voice was so-so, had never been trained, not like Joan's. The other finalist was a man, a wannabe Arthur Askey with his hang out the washing on the Siegfried line. He was good and shared Askey's impish face, but she just knew that her song hit the right notes of nostalgia and bombast, of whimsy and grit. She joined the other finalists on the stackable chairs placed in a row to the side of the stage and waited for the judges to pronounce. It wouldn't take long. They had to be out of the hall by 6 so the caretaker could sweep and lock up, and everyone wanted a cup of tea before they left. The judge walked to the centre, took hold of the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he raised his hand for silence, "we had 3 talented artistes who were all equally deserving of winning." He paused. "It was a truly difficult choice, but the rules don't permit the prize to be divided." Joan knew not to get agitated. £500 was still £500. "However," he went on, "my fellow judges and I felt that there was one person who stood out for the clarity of voice and the sheer passion of delivery." He beamed, and Joan began to sweat again. She hoped the arm shields wouldn't leak and the perspiration marks show. "So, the winner of the senior singing competition of 2004, with a rendition of that splendid hit—" He paused, milking the drama, and Joan edged forward in her seat. She'd had by far the loudest applause, but things could be unpredictable. They could feel sorry for the Vera Lynn lookalike, or, heaven forbid, the Arthur Askey impersonator could have slipped a tenor to one of the judges. "Ravens in the Tower." Joan breathed out while the MC clapped, microphone in one hand so it crackled with the pressure. "Please, everybody, a big hand for Joan Spaulding." Joan nodded at her fellow competitors, smiled in empty sympathy. It was hard living on a state pension, and what she'd put aside over the years was dwindling.